Hello and welcome to Kerwin State High School's virtual newsletter for week 4 of term 3. We're going to be celebrating some wonderful student achievements today and speaking to these students about what has been going on. But there's also a number of really important school events that have occurred and will occur over the next couple of weeks. Thank you to all of the teachers and parents for turning out in such great numbers to our 3O conversations this week. It's always great to see a student, parent and a teacher, that important partnership, sitting down together talking about educational progress, celebrating some of the successes and looking at the next steps. In addition to that, we were very privileged to host a large number of prospective parents into our 6 into 7 evening, and it was lovely to see such a great turnout and so many really interesting questions about students, about the start of Year 7, the start of high school for these current Year 6 students. Next week, we're going to move into subject selection evenings. We have the Year 8 into 9 night as students take a little bit more responsibility for their educational pathway and choose some electives. And then we move into our set planning evening for Year 10 to 11 students. Already this week, we've had the Career Expo, which was probably the biggest one that we've ever done. We had a huge number of external organisations coming into the school, and students had the opportunity to move around and speak to them about prospective careers and employment and education and training post-school. Students will take all of this knowledge along with what they've learnt from their teachers around set planning and the Year 10 into 11 subject information evening to make decisions about their pathway through Year 11 and 12. This is a really exciting time for students. More than ever before in their high school journeys, they have greater autonomy over the subjects that they study and the path that they take through high school. And generally we find students are really engaged in this process and make good decisions about what they want to do. So I look forward to seeing parents and students at these important events as students make these decisions. Now let's talk to some of our students about some of the great things that have been happening over the past few weeks. As always, it's been a fantastic few weeks of student achievements to start term 3 at Kerwin State High School, and the first one that we're going to talk about today is the Philosophathon, which was an event that 4 of our students travelled to Brisbane to compete in. And I'm joined by Patrick White and Georgie Watt today, and we should acknowledge there were 2 other students who went as well, Madeline Harrington and Tamara Lovely. I guess the first question, Georgie, that people would really want to know after they've worked out how to pronounce Philosophathon, what is it?
So Philosophathon is a competition in Brisbane that's held and led by purely about students in discussions, and we discuss topics in the University of Queensland.
What is it about their arguments that they judge?
About the arguments and also how insightful the comments are.
How insightful, how rational. Okay, so you come together and you basically have a philosophical discussion, but they're looking for students to actually come up with really unique, interesting, logical arguments. Okay, that's very exciting. Okay, Patrick, so what were some of the topics that were discussed at the Philosophathon?
So there was the ownership of Mars, the gender quotas, the 3 commandments for the next generation, and whether we should value the unborn generation before our current generation.
Okay, all right. And what was the most interesting topic from your perspective?
I think the gender quotas, there's a very diverse opinions between everyone, and it meant there was able to be a full argument about the topic.
A rich conversation. Okay. What about you, Georgie?
Mine has to be the Mars and the ownership of Mars.
Yep.
Purely because there was so much discussion about ownership and who has the right to own and what laws and that would follow onto Mars from who owns it.
That's a really interesting question, and look, this is the first time that Kerwin State High School has participated in Philosophathon, but it's certainly something I think will be a regular part of from now on. We've got a fantastic philosophy program at the school, and our students are really well placed to participate and engage at a very high level in this really interesting and novel competition. So congratulations to both of you, and Madeline and Tamara as well for their participation in the event. Very well done. Congratulations to their teachers, and we look forward to seeing what happens next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coen State High School has a very long and proud tradition of competing in a competition called the Brain Bee. This is a global quiz where students are tested on their knowledge of the brain. And for many years now, students from Coen State High School have been so successful that they've been competing in the state finals, the Queensland and Northern Territory finals in fact, each year that are held in Brisbane. And this year was no exception. We had some fantastic performances, and I'm joined by Matthew Blair, who participated and did very well in the finals. And I need to acknowledge as well that there were two other students, Grace Quinn and William Bailey, who also reached the state finals and competed in Brisbane.
Yes.
So Matthew, congratulations, it's a fantastic achievement. So we know the Brain Bee is a quiz about the brain. Obviously,
Yes.
you spend many months beforehand learning everything about the brain.
There was a lot of research and study time devoted to that.
Yeah. Well, I know how hard you've worked around this. Tell people how does it start? What's the initial first round of the competition like?
So the first round of the competition, it's all done remotely. It was all done via Education Perfect. That was where all the subject matter was and the final assessment was.
Okay.
And it was mostly multiple choice. That first round.
Yeah. But in that first round, you have to do well enough to
Yep.
qualify for the state
You have to pass there and be the top of their 80% threshold.
Yep.
Like you have to get more than 80% to even be considered to go to the state final.
Well, and obviously our three students did, and congratulations. So once you reached the state final, you qualified for the individual category.
Yeah, so it started off, we had 1 hour to complete a much larger assessment. It was multiple choice, but there are a lot more choices. Instead of 4, there might have been 20.
Yeah,
and they were much harder questions.
Yeah.
Now, after completing that, I happened to qualify for the top 6.
That's a fantastic
out of the whole
achievement.
group.
Yeah, and that's done still in front of everybody with the whole audience watching.
Yeah, we got up and there are these large pedestals in which they had tablets that we wrote our answers on, answering their verbal questions.
I know, it's a very high pressure, competitive environment, and schools from across Queensland are there.
Yeah, all across.
And some schools have been there for many years, like Coen State High School. And look, you did very, very well, and so did all the students who qualified for the state final. But of course, it's not just the competition. I mean, placing in top 6 is wonderful, but it's also the opportunity you have to visit some really leading scientific research laboratories about the brain. What were some of those experiences like?
The tour arounds were incredible. They showed us one of their latest MRI scanners. They've only got one this powerful in the southern hemisphere. They had arranged so that there was someone even in there while we went.
Okay.
And you could see their brain scan light up when they spoke to the patient. And it was really incredible to see.
It's a fantastic learning opportunity. That sounds really very exciting. So congratulations, Coen State High School is really proud of you, and we also acknowledge the teachers who supported you as well to get to that point and travelled down with you. But you've done very, very well, and I'm glad you enjoyed that experience. So
it was incredible.
We look forward to being back there again next year. Thank you to those students. It was great to hear about their outstanding achievements, and thank you also to their teachers who, for every student achievement, in addition to the family support, we know that there is also the support of teachers who are working with those students as well. I'm really looking forward to the next 2 weeks as we transition across the midway point of the term and continue to see some of the fantastic work of our teachers and students. Thank you.